Today, I'll show you how I used camera angles to hide a lot of problems. And we're going to be looking at 3 blank storyboards. I just made notes because I didn't know at this time how I was going to work these shots out. And I'll explain that when we jump into the Blender file. So I just made some notes. Shot 12, she smiles at him. Shot 13, he winks. Shot 14, she blushes and then returns to studying. All right, let's take a look at the shots. So I'm going to play this a couple of times. Let's start by paying attention to the main characters. So she's looking at him and she's going to smile and then she's going to get embarrassed and go back to studying. And she actually waves at him, which ups the stakes a little bit. I'm going to jog through this. So here you can see the sun hitting the side of her face. That is with the flag. Before that, her hair was just really blown out and looked terrible. I'm using depth of field to make everybody out of focus in the background. And let's just jog through this. She blinks, she looks at him, she smiles. And then he looks at her, winks, little smile there. Again, on his shot, we also have depth of field to isolate him from all the other characters. The sun, for whatever reason, was not hitting him so bad, so I did not put a flag over to the side of him. I think he actually had a wall off to his left. There's a bunch of windows, and I'll show you that in the Blender file. Back to her. She kind of waves and then feels embarrassed and looks back. One last time. There she goes. And then back to studying. All right, now let's take a look at the background characters. So as I mentioned before, everybody was out of focus. The redhead in the back left, that is the same character as our main girl. I just left her hair long, turned it red, and you will see her blow a bubble. The guy sitting next to her looks like he's bored in class and starts to slouch. The 2 guys on the right are sort of paying attention. The guy right behind her with the blue pin is animated fairly well, but I did not use reference for him, which was a mistake. I didn't do reference for the background characters. I did do reference for the main characters, which was a mistake. I should have done reference for everybody, but let's take a look. So you can see him bored in the back left, bubble starting. He looks a little robotic over her right. These people behind him move a little bit, and you can just see everybody behind her is a bit robotic, and everybody in front of him, we don't see them much. He's a quicker shot with the wink, but let's take a look at that one last time, concentrating on the background characters. So a little robotic of the guy right behind her. The other guy's sleeping way in the back. These characters just move a little bit. And in the background, you can see the guy slouch and the bubble being blown. All right, let's go into the Blender file. So I'm going to start here outside the classroom. If you look over here, I have 3 area lights that I thought were going to be the best way to light this classroom. It did not work out that way. So I did not actually have them rendered over here. I actually had them turned off and not a part of this file at all. I wound up using the sky texture for my world, and that worked really well to give it the feeling that it was morning in this classroom. I love the sky texture, recommend it highly. Let's fly here into our room if we can. So looking here at the girl and the boy, here is the flag I used to flag off the girl's face because it was getting hit too much. It looks like I might have even messed with the opacity to make it a little bit see-through to give her some more light. But the boy, I didn't have anything down here because for some reason, if you come over here, I believe this wall right here was shielding the boy from getting blasted with light because of where I positioned the sun outside the classroom. All right, let's go look at the girl character. So I'm going to start with the flag here. It's shielding her from a bunch of bright sunlight. As you can see over here, I'm in my render mode. You might be able to hear my computer churning away. It's struggling to keep up to render all this in real time. So this is going to be quick, and then we'll just go back to our viewport shading. So here's the flag over here. Let's get this out of the way, and I'm going just to hide it. And so it's gone now, and you're going to see as my computer catches up, she's getting a lot more light smacking her in the face. So there's the front of her face getting smacked with a bunch of light, and let's go back to see what it looks like with the flag. So as you can see, she's still getting a lot of light in the face, so it still looks like it's morning, but it's not as egregious and blowing out the entire left side of her face. All right, let's get out of this mode and look at everything else. Okay, so I've turned on all the characters, and this is going to show, I'm just going to show you the point of view of the boy looking at the girl, and we're going to scroll along here. There's a lot of animation going on, so my computer lags a whole lot. So this is where she smiles. So this is that little section where she smiles. Now, you can see all my background characters there out of focus still. I'm going to come over here. Now, as we look over here, again, her sweatshirt did not work very well when I added it to her. This is one of many items of clothing I added, and it's tearing and pulling, and I couldn't fix it. That's one of the reasons I decided to not do sort of over-the-shoulder shots like this. I could have put the camera in this sort of position, done an over-the-shoulder. I felt, number one, I felt it was more intimate to not be over the shoulder and have it be more their point of view. And then also I was running into a lot of problems. So the way I wanted to handle it actually worked out better than doing over-the-shoulder shots. So you can see her sweatshirt is just abysmal there, but you can't tell from the angle of the camera. Now let's jump along here. She's looking. We're going to see her wave. I think when she waves, it's even more abysmal. Yeah, when her hand's coming up. Yeah, it's still just, it's not good, the back. Even over here, you can see like the sweatshirt, something's grabbing the sweatshirt and dragging it in from her, you can see that doesn't make any sense there, from her rig when I attached it. You can also see down here, it looks terrible. So that's why I picked some of the angles I picked and why I did all that, because this just was not working out. And when we come around here, you can see even her sweatshirt doesn't look great here. I did parent the pin to her hand, so when she moves around, you can see her hand move. And then, as I mentioned, let's go back up here and watch this girl blow a bubble because she's bored in class. And you can see the bubble here. The bubble gum, it's one big starts small and gets big. It's just 2 keyframes, but it works for both shots. So the gum is always getting bigger. And you can see I didn't make it actually come out of her mouth because you never actually see her mouth. It's just a pink ball in front of her mouth that grows. And because it's in the background over here, if you look, it just looks like bubble gum. So that was the trick for hiding this face, because it is the exact same face here. And as you see here, you can pretty much tell, same face. But here, out of focus, gum in front of it, can't tell. So that's it for the boy's point of view. Let's take a look at the girl's point of view. All right, so looking at this, interestingly, his shoulder is coming through his sweater there. So obviously I fixed that at some point. But in this version of the file, which I am using, I obviously did not. So he doesn't do much. He's just sort of, his head moves slightly and he winks. And let's do that now. The background characters just move a little bit. I have their heads moving. So he doesn't do much in this shot. I just animate his head slightly. I may move his hand a little bit. I just try and do something subtle so he doesn't look like he's a robot. And then he winks at her. And that is it for this sort of view. He's got a little smile smirk there. There goes the wink. There we go. And that's basically it for that shot. You'll notice the background characters as well. Their heads move a little bit. Again, I didn't do reference. I tried to make it look like people were looking down and taking notes and then looking back up at the professor. That was the concept there. I don't know if it worked, but I just didn't want frozen people behind. Again, as I analyze this, I like to tear it apart, but I think when watching the film, it's not as bad as I think it is. And then again, this backpack here, it is the same backpack she has. I added some buttons on his. Again, everybody has the same piece of paper, a lot of repeated bags around for people. I had fun back here with this guy. Didn't give him a bag at all because you're not going to see it. I had fun with this girl, giving her a purse instead of a backpack, like she's a terrible student. She's a cheerleader and he's a football player. I don't know. Just trying to make up some backstories of people, a bit cliched, but the idea that they don't have anything to read. He's bored and she's blowing bubbles. This guy, I have him falling asleep. He's got sort of more of a gym bag here than anything else. And this is a smart kid, so I gave him a briefcase. And his pencil is actually parented to his hand as well, so when it moves around. He's the one I'm upset about the most because I should have done some reference for him. He's right behind her in her shot, and he looks a little robotic to me in those two shots. But that is it for the classroom scene. Once again, the choices I made for this scene were much aligned with what my computer could handle. You'll notice you get the vibe over here of a full classroom, but it is definitely not a full classroom when you look at the whole room. You get the vibe that it is, and that was what I was able to pull off with my computer at the time. Tomorrow, I'll show you how I set up a dorm room. I'll see you then.